we offer more than 200 products and services. So as you can imagine, that's quite a bit of work that we're hassling on. So, and our design team is basically focusing on the second strategic pillar, which is delivering best customer experience to our customers. And honestly, we do a good job when we look at the 6 main product categories. Within these categories, we're really trying to do the best for our customer. So for example, we have an award-winning Entertain IPTV platform. It's a really nice experience from end to end. You can, watch and experience it on different platforms and different devices. The same for smart home. We created this entire ecosystem of consistent hardware and platforms. But in the end, we have the same problem. There's no interlinkage in between all these different propositions. And ultimately, we don't have a clue what the holistic perspective and the holistic needs are for our customers. So this is why basically the management came up to us and was asking to sort of bring all these 200 services and products together and work on a coherent experience and a coherent ecosystem. And as you can imagine, as crazy and as big that sounds, we were really excited to be able to tackle on this problem. So this is actually what I'm going to talk about today, the approach, how we tackled it. Excuse me. And for that, we basically had 4 steps. So I'm just going to quickly introduce them. So we had the understand and ideate phase. Then we developed a strategic framework. After that, we made sure we make it tangible. And in the end, it was all about the rollout and the distribution. So let's dive into the first point, understanding and ideation. So basically, it's really important in this case to gain insights from multiple perspectives. I guess we're all designers, more or less, so we kind of know that. But in this case, it was very important to start from the inside out, because all these products were already there, or they are there, and we needed to understand what is really going on. What are the propositions? Is it useful? Is it not useful? How do they make money? Yeah, all these things we had to really deep dive and figure out what the products are doing and how they might, work together. Then, of course, we needed to know what are the future roadmaps of these products, because you need to take that into consideration once you roll out a framework. And in the end, of course, you also need to know about the strategic goals. Then switching the perspective to the outside in, we did a lot of observations, trying to figure out how customers really use our products. How do they embed into their daily lives? Do they use various products at the same time? Do they use third-party products? How does it all come together? So after that, we also, of course, did lots of trends analysis and competitive benchmarking. So we looked at many different ecosystems, product ecosystems, to figure out what works and what doesn't, and how would it fit into our world, basically. So after the insights have been gathered, we went into the first round of stakeholder meetings. So basically, it was about engaging our stakeholders, because ultimately it's them who have to build something and be part of the ecosystem. So for that, you really need to ensure that you elaborate the add value for your customers, and in this case, for your business stakeholders. So, for example, if you join an ecosystem, a product ecosystem, you'll be able to gain more reach. You'll automatically have access to more customers. Also, you'll be way more efficient if you are logging in or plugging into a standardized set of enablers. So that was really important, because nobody wants to have additional work on their roadmap. They're all busy trying to fulfill their targets. but you need to be smart in terms of giving them something back and giving them the value of joining an ecosystem. And of course, since delivering best customer experience is one of our strategic goals, it's also, there's something in it for the customer, of course. So this is just a high-level list of it, but it's easier to discover new products once you're in an ecosystem. Also, it's easier to have a seamless experience from one product to the other. And yeah, if you do it right, you can even have a personalized experience in the end. So then we thought about how can we tackle this problem. Shall we just send our entire team into different product streams and then work it all out? And this would probably have taken until, I don't know, 2025 or something. Or should we take a different approach? So for this case, we selected a strategic framework. So what we've done is we created a framework that was basically, meant to fit all products. It was very important that it's generic enough that everybody can apply to it. But it also needed to be specific enough so every product can attach to it and be inspired to create their vision within the ecosystem. So these are basically the building blocks that we created for this experience framework. And I'll read it from top to bottom. So first of all, it's the consistency layer. I think that's the front face that every customer experiences to basically boost the brand and trust perception. Then secondly, we created experience principles, like a common mindset to vitalize the ecosystem that each product has to follow. And then the third one is defining the technological enablers that bring all these different products together and interlink them. And all these three layers basically can be seen as entirely big programs almost. So they're all different activities that we needed to tackle on, and they're quite big actually, and took quite some time and still take some time. So let's, for example, go into the consistency. What it is, it's basically for us the main rule to be consistent but not uniform. That means we leave enough room for products to play their product personality, and still you need to have a identity, a signature detail in each product so the customer feels comfortable and it's easy for him to get orientation. So we divided consistency into 4 dimensions, basically. So we tackled on the structure, then the appearance, how it looks, and the behavior, how it feels, how it's animated, how things appear on the screen, but also very important, how do you talk to your customers? So once you're within an ecosystem, it's very important to keep that layer of consistency along the entire experience. And so what we've done with that is basically to offer a centralized platform, which is our brand and design platform, where we host all the different design languages, the different design guides. Then we have assets that we offer, code snippets, everything that you need to basically start a new product or go from there when it's already existing. And it's actually a mandatory tool, so the entire company or all the product streams need to take that and start from there. So that was basically very design internal driven because we're the visual and UX designers, so we kind of like know what we need there. But the second one, the experience principles, that's something that needs to be interdisciplinary and done in a co-creation way. So what it is, it's basically a common mindset for best customer experience. So every product owner, every product stream needs to be sure, we needed to be sure that they all understand how and what the definition for a seamless experience is for us. So let me give me a bit of a definition of what they do. First of all, of course, they address customers' pain points and their needs. But they also enable seamless and convergent experience, so you can have add-on value by using 2 or 3 or 5 different products at the same time. Also very important, they need to support the business objectives because, yeah, otherwise you don't make money, and then it's, yeah, probably not good for us as Telekom. And what is also very important for us is that each principle is basically applicable to the entire customer journey. So it's not only within one, I don't know, touch point like use, so it should be applicable to the entire customer journey. This is what we came up with. This is basically a high-level description of it. There's more to it, but I can't talk too much about it. But basically, these are the ones that fit our ecosystem very well. So that's, we had probably like 25 that we had to select from and drill it down from there. And this is how we got there, basically. So we correlated all the pain points from different customer experience maps that we researched. We correlated all the pain points and listed them. Then we decided on growth levers. How is our ecosystem vitalized? How can life get in there? And then we matched them with the customer's expectations, of course. And during that process, we had lots and lots of testing to do, of course, with stakeholders because they need to apply them, and also with our customers to see whether or not it works for them. So for the last one, last building block, the technological enablers, this is an entire new project, basically. It is the infrastructure behind the entire system to interlink all these different products and services. So give a little bit of a definition here as well. They empower a holistic view of our customers, so it's not particular anymore or separated. They facilitate the seamless experience, and of course it's also efficient to develop an enabler once for all and not like, yeah, being in a developmental cycle for each product all the time. And also very important is that what we experienced, that technological enablers are very IT-driven. So requirements and capabilities are very often defined by what a system can do, because either you bought the system and you just go with it, or it's a different perspective from a technological view. So we needed to make sure that we work and co-create together with the IT development to figure out how we can change it. So how we got there is basically that we took all these different target pictures that products and services developed based on the experience principles. Then we prioritized by impact to the user, but also to prioritized it by scalability. And then we analyzed, like, what is there? What does our infrastructure have already? Is it a system that is capable of helping our vision out, or is it still something that we need to develop from scratch? So that's something that we needed to figure out together with IT development, and yeah, we kind of like created target pictures out of that and defined requirements in a co-creation way to really ensure that all these requirements for this ecosystem are met. So the next part, as a strategic framework, is very intangible. I mean, the problem is always you end up with something meta, and if you go to stakeholders and you're trying to communicate, hey, there's this great thing that we wanna show, and I think this totally works with products all together, you need to make it tangible. That's rule number one. Otherwise, you'll lose because nobody will listen to you. And so this is our basic rule for that: show, don't tell. Because seeing is believing, and also experiencing is believing. So what we've done is we created a couple of different visions and made them tangible. First of all, for our board members and stakeholders who don't have time to talk to you too long, we created a vision movie where we put in like a day of a life of our customer and brought in all these different use cases that might be possible then within this ecosystem. And secondly, we own a design gallery. That's how we call it. It's basically a future forum at Deutsche Telekom, where we have a vision in place for 2025 with all these different stations in your life, for example, work, on the move, or at home. And we ensure that all of our prototypes and our use cases that we envision are placed in there. So people can come in and experience it and play with it. And as they move along, they kind of like experience the value of an interlinked ecosystem.